What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning back in. In this video, we are back home. We're back in Idaho. We got the car back in Idaho. And if you watched the last video, we were down at my parents' house in Nevada getting the engine and transmission installed back in the car after a refresh this winter. I left you guys. I told you that we were going to be going with glass versus Lexan because we got talked into it by Gary at Silver Street Glass. And I think it turned out amazing, man. I don't think I could be happier. It's the clearest that this car, at least since I've owned it, the front windshield it's ever had. So I like the tint strip at the top from the factory. Looks really good. So again, I know it's a little bit heavier than Lexan, but it was just a lot easier to install, and I think it looks better. So also covered up some of the patches in the firewall or the holes in the firewall with this piece of tin. That turned out really good. Just kind of cleaning it up. If you followed along this winter, this off season, you know that I rebuilt the 383 cubic inch small block Chevy. Just went through it, put new bearings and piston rings in it, and also switched over to E85. Got all that completed. Check out all the videos through this off season. I went through basically the whole thing, the whole rebuild and tear down. Also the transmission, the Turbo 400 transmission is fully refreshed from David Ultimate Transmission. He went through that, said everything looked good after a few years. So put new clutches, cut open the converter, made sure everything was good, refreshed that. And we got the car running in the last video at my parents' house, but it has not gone on its maiden voyage yet because we didn't have a windshield. So now that the windshield is in it, we are gonna pull this thing outside, get it up to temp, go on a little cruise, maybe 2 laps or so around the block. And I want to get the transmission up to temperature and get the transmission fluid topped off and just make sure that we don't have any leaks. So let's get this thing fired up and take a little cruise in it. And for my family, because I know they're gonna watch this video, I put a fire extinguisher in here just in case. Okay, got the car in neutral, checked the transmission fluid. It was a little bit low, so we just put a little bit more in it. We'll go flip around the block again and make sure our tranny fluid's at a good level. got the car pushed back in after its maiden voyage, and it went really good. The first thing that kind of freaked me out, that sounded a little bit different than what it sounded like before, was about 2200 RPM. This converter has always been really, obviously it's a racing converter, so it's very lazy down low, and it's always kind of popped and rattled a little bit when you're hovering around that RPM, just cruising around. And I think with more fuel going in it now, it was just extra like poppy and stuff like that, so it almost felt like it had an issue for a minute, like it was misfiring or something. But once I got out on the main road, I got into it a little bit, and man, it cleared right up. So I don't think that'll be an issue. It's hard to really tell on the street, you know, until we get to the track and kind of put it through its paces. But everything else went really good. Got it up to temp, got the transmission fluid topped off. I've spotted a couple tiny little leaks. I don't know if you can see down there, there's a little puddle. It's just from the oil pressure, where we get our oil pressure gauge from, is leaking, so I need to tighten that up a little bit. And other than that, like I said, it's just a couple little things that we need to finish up before we go testing. A few of you guys have been wanting to know the differences between the old gas carburetor and the new ATM E85 carburetor. So go over a couple of things. Yes, the old quick fuel is a 950 CFM, and the new E85 carburetor from ATM is only an 850. But really don't let the airflow numbers really fool you. I have both spec cards here to kind of compare a couple of the things. Where the ATM carburetor is a lot bigger is on the jet sizes and stuff like that. So I got both spec cards here. We can kind of go through them. The primary main jet and the secondary jet on the quick fuel 950 was an 82 and 88. And on the ATM here, main jet, you can see under metering block there, is a 91 and a 99. So a lot bigger there. The primary nozzle and secondary nozzle were both 37s on the gas carburetor. They're both 42s, as you see on the top row there on the ATM. And the power valves in the 950 are 4.5s compared to the 8.5s on the ATM carburetor. So technically, yes, the 950 on the air side was a little bit bigger than the 850, but as you can tell by the numbers, a lot more fuel going into the 850 ATM carburetor. I never had any issues with this quick fuel. It did exactly what I needed it to when it was on gas. It was always a little bit rich, but that's totally fine with the supercharged application. It's always okay to be a little bit rich, but out of the box, this thing did great as well. So I think the next and last big thing that I need to check off the list is to go get the car, get it aligned. If you look at any pictures or videos from last year, the tops of the tires were always, I don't know, toe, caster, all that stuff, but they were leaned in a little bit, and it wore out the first set of Hoosier front runners that I had, wore them out way on the inside, and the outsides were still fine. So need to go get it aligned. So we're gonna take it down to Quality Alignment in Nampa, Idaho, get that taken care of, and it's just a bunch of little miscellaneous things before the season starts. So we have about a month to go. I appreciate all of you for following along through this off season. Really appreciate it. The channel's growing, and it's just really cool to see all of you supporting what we have going on over here. So as always, really appreciate you watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, keep following along, and the racing content will be here before you know it. Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you.